When couples live like roommates, it's actually a description of when love turns into a distance. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. Let's talk about something many married couples experience, and they rarely talk about it openly, at least not to friends or family. It's this living like roommates. You share the same house, you manage the children, you coordinate your schedules, but emotionally something feels missing. The warmth is actually gone, and your affection for each other has faded. Conversations are mostly about practical things like paying the bills, doing the groceries, who is picking up the children, and sometimes people quietly wonder, how did we even get here? So if you've ever felt like you and your spouse are living parallel lives rather than sharing a marriage, it's a common concern couples bring into counseling. So when love slowly becomes really distant, couples wake up one morning and suddenly feel like they are strangers. Distance has developed, emotional safety has gone off, and it often begins during busy seasons of life. Raising children, building careers, managing financial pressures, we're paying mortgage, we're paying for houses and cars. At first, the couples tell themselves it's temporary, we're just busy, and we will reconnect later. We'll go on vacations, and the later never quite arrives. So instead, the routine replaces the connection. You stop sharing deeper thoughts. You stop touching yourselves as often. Sometimes even sitting together on the couch becomes really rare. And without noticing it, the relationship begins operating more like a household partnership than a marriage. Of course, it does have emotional consequences. When couples live like this, as though they are roommates, both spouses often experience quiet loneliness, where one partner may think, my spouse isn't interested in me anymore, and they are tempted to start looking elsewhere. And then the other partner may feel like, no matter what I do, it's never enough. And so they both retreat emotionally. The passion goes out of the window. They stop trying as much. Arguments become more frequent, or communication disappears entirely in some cases. And intimacy definitely goes with that. Most couples who come to counseling tell me that they haven't been physically intimate for years. Not because they don't care about each other, but because emotional distance slowly shuts the door on closeness. And let me tell you why this happens. There are usually three patterns that is beneath the roommate dynamic. The first is emotional neglect. And sometimes it's without intention. Life becomes so full, the relationship stops receiving attention. And then the second is unresolved conflict. Couples may have had painful arguments in the past that were never fully repaired. Hear me well. It was probably addressed but not resolved. So over time, they begin avoiding deeper conversations to avoid the conflict. The third is the loss of emotional safety. When people feel criticized or misunderstood, they protect themselves by pulling away. So distance becomes safer than being vulnerable. And let me share three small shifts that can help to regain reconnection for you. The good news is that roommate marriages can change. And reconnection rarely happens by accident. It does require small intentional shifts. The first one is couples need intentional time together. This is important. Not just watching television in the same room, but actually talking, walking, sharing something meaningful. I do have a framework. I work with couples. I do tell them what to ask. Even 20 minutes of intentional conversation can make a lot of difference. Number two, couples need to rebuild emotional safety. Now, this means listening without immediately correcting or defending. Sometimes the most powerful response in a marriage is simply, I didn't realize you felt that way. Thank you for telling me. All right, the third one is couples need to bring back small acts of affection and respect. Holding hands, a genuine hug, sitting close. Intimacy usually returns after emotional safety is restored. The pattern that I see often is when partners begin feeling like they are carrying emotional weight of the marriage alone. They will initiate the conversation. They try to reconnect, and then eventually they become discouraged and stop trying. Meanwhile, the other partner may not realize how serious the emotional distance has become, especially when they get busy with work. And by the time couples seek help, both spouses often feel discouraged and have become uncertain about whether their relationships can improve. All right, many marriages do recover when couples begin understanding the patterns that created the distance. So there are stances of patterns of interactions in couples. If you're listening today and you're recognizing this roommate dynamic in your own marriage, I want to tell you that you're not alone. Many couples reach a point where the relationship feels more like a partnership than a connection. Podcasts like this can help you understand a small part of the problem, but they usually solve about 10% of it. The deeper work of understanding the patterns in your specific marriage and learning how to reconnect often happens through guided conversations with a professional. So in my counseling practice here in Ballarat, Victoria, I work with married couples who feel emotionally distant and they want to rebuild connection. Some couples come because they feel like roommates. Others come because intimacy has disappeared. And I do provide in-person consultations in Ballarat and secure video sessions so couples can access support wherever they are. So if you feel your marriage has drifted into distance, you're welcome to reach out through my website to book a session. Thank you for listening in today. And remember, distance in your marriage doesn't always mean love has disappeared. Sometimes it simply means the relationship needs attention again. Thank you for listening once more. Until next episode, stay beautiful, stay confident.